A lot of us dream of owning an acreage. We dream of owning a homestead. We dream of owning a commercial greenhouse. We dream of doing a farmer's market from our home. We dream of doing so much when it comes to gardening. Some of us dream of having a commercial worm farming business. Now, I'm going to be giving you a tour of my indoor greenhouse and what I have been doing. But while I do so, I'm going to be just giving you a few tips when it comes to any of the aforementioned, whether it is a farmer's market from your home, whether it is a homestead, whether it is a commercial greenhouse, a commercial worm farm, a few tips as to what you can do to make the process a little easier. So what you're looking at here is my indoor vertical greenhouse and wormery. And as for those of you who have been following me for a while know that I have a space here that is 25 feet by 13, and the plan is to turn this into a worm farm and into a commercial worm farm and greenhouse. The issue I'm having is that the place is not mine, but hopefully in the future I will once again own my own place. That is my goal, but let's go into the meat of the matter. So let's go in and show you the progress that have been made. It is dark in here because I turned out the lights this morning. Okay, so here we go. It is a bit messy in here because I am doing some work in here at the moment. So this is where the bulk of my worms are. And over here I have my breeder bin set up. And now to give you an update as to how the vertical garden is doing. It's not doing too badly. So I'm going to be harvesting the lettuces in this row. For some of them, I'm going to be harvesting the entire thing. For some of them, I'm going to be doing the cut and come again method. Now here is one of the tips that I'm going to give you when it comes to growing for personal use. If you have limited space and if you have a short growing season, for any plants that you can use the cut and come again method, use that, because sometimes the season is so short that you don't have enough time to do succession planting. So if you want to ensure that you have a constant supply during your growing season, then using the cut and come again method work. Now, if you are not familiar with the cut and come again method, it is where, for example, this lettuce, you would harvest these larger leaves and you'd leave the inner portion of the plant, because then it's going to keep on growing more leaves for you to harvest. Okay, so I have my little kales there coming up, and look over there at my lemongrass. It is just spreading out. So quite a few more plants have been added to this vertical greenhouse since you've last seen it. But guys, look at this. My kidney beans, look at what they are doing. My kidney beans are flowering, so I am quite excited for that. Okay, so these are some of the plants. I have a lot of cabbages in this container and the one behind it that I am regrowing, different types of cabbage that I cannot find the seeds to purchase, and so I am regrowing them for the seeds and the foliage, of course. And over here, my tomatoes, these are my vine tomatoes, and they're just begging to be transplanted. We have 2 weeks left in the growing before the growing season start, so I'm going to be transplanting them outdoors. Some of them are going to stay indoors, so they're begging to be trellised. Okay, and here, I don't know if you recall, I have one of those little makeshift greenhouse right here that had my seedlings. So since then, some of them have been uppotted and some of them has been transplanted into this box that I built. And some of them that have been uppotted, to utilize the full amount of light and not having to use a lot of grow lights, I just rest those ones that are uppotted in here. And up above that is another tier. And some of these plants need to be transplanted. As you can see, quite a bit of seedlings in there. The same thing for my amaranth, quite a bit of seeds there. Now let me share some tips with you when it comes to starting a commercial worm farm, greenhouse, buying an acreage, setting up a homestead. These things cost money, that we all know. Now, a lot of us will wait until we have all the resources before we get started. And if you can get all of the resources you need within a reasonable time, then that is a good idea. If you are not going to be able to get all the resources, my suggestion is that you start small. So in my situation, I am currently renting because I moved from my home in Saskatchewan. And so my future goal is to get a property for myself. One of the things that I am doing, I don't have the resources yet, but one of the things that I'm doing, I am actively looking where I can find a piece of property that suits my need. Now in Prince Rupert, that is quite difficult because the lots here are, especially in more modern times, the lots are getting a lot smaller. There are no farms here. There are very few people who does gardening here. And because it is rainy, so it is difficult to find land that is going to suit my need. There are no acreages here in Prince Rupert. So that is one of the challenge. So if you don't have the resources, start looking around at properties. Because the thing is, when you see something that you want, as opposed to just dreaming about wanting something, when you see something that you want, it motivates you to start planning for it. It motivates you to start taking action so that you can get it sooner. When you delay, the chances are someone else is also looking at that property that you want, and so they're going to go after it. If you're planning to set up a commercial worm farm, start with the little worms that you have. Start selling, even if it is a small amount of worms, start selling them by cup size, fishing bait size. So you don't want to wait until you have a bulk, because what you're doing when you start early is that you're building a reputation as a worm farmer, as a commercial worm farmer. You're getting your name out there, but you don't want to sell off your supply. So start small and work your way up. If you are not able to build your commercial worm farm to the size that you want it, start with what you can do. First, you want to look at the cost. How much is it going to cost to set up the entire worm farm? So you go around and you price check and you calculate how much it's going to cost you. You're going to be looking at your electrical bills. You're going to be looking at how much heating you're going to need. You're going to be looking at how many bins you're going to need, how much material you're going to need to set up. If you're going to use a setup like this, how much material will you need? And then when you figure that out, you ask yourself, okay, do I have enough that I can do the full project, or do I have enough where I can get started? Let's say you are not able to get even one row of the bins and set up a shelf. Start by buying 2 pieces of lumber and putting them down. Don't wait until you have the bulk. Here's what's happening. The price of material, the price of everything is going up. So if you can start with a little bit, even if it is just 2 lumber, start with the 2 lumber, you buy them, you put it down. You buy another 2 at the next paycheck and you put those down. You have 4 pieces. You can now get started. And you keep doing that. Would you go to McDonald's or to Burger King or go to a restaurant, fancy restaurant, to eat a nice meal? Can you do something simpler and put some of that money to buying maybe a few bins? You have to think smart, because if you wait until you have the bulk of money, chances are it's going to take you a long time, and others who have the resources are going to get started and they're going to be way ahead of you, which is going to make it more difficult for you to make a name for yourself in the industry. It can happen, and if you're good at marketing, it is even better. So start small. Every time you make a sale, don't put that sale back into your pocket. Put that sale back into your business. Don't spend it on anything else. Use that sale to advance your business. If you're looking for land and you don't have the resources, try to find the land. And then you sit and you ask yourself, what can I do to come up with that resource, with the resources to purchase that land? And if you're going to get the land, one of the things that is important is, before you make a purchase, know what it is that you intend to use the land for. When you know what it is that you're going to be using the land for, you need to talk to your local authorities and find out what that land is zoned for, because seeing a nice piece of land doesn't necessarily mean that you're legally allowed to do what you want to do on that property. So you're going to do your research, talk to your local authorities and find out what can you do on that property, because even if the property look nice, if it is not zoned for what you want, you don't want to make the purchase and then you find that it is in vain. And especially in these days when resources are limited for a lot of people, it may be difficult for you to resell that property. So spend the time, do your research before you invest. That is always important. Sit down, create a business plan. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start off with a simple plan, and as time goes by, you upgrade your business plan. But start off with a business plan. How much it's going to cost you to get set up? How much would it cost you if you start small? Where are you going to find your clients? How are you going to market your stuff? These are things that you need to consider. Are you going to be doing a farmer's market? If you're going to be doing a farmer's market at your home, how are you going to set it up? Is it going to be an indoor farmer's market? Is it going to be an outdoors farmer's market? Is it going to be where you harvest your supply and then have your farmer's market? Or is it going to be where your clients come and they can harvest for themselves? With some guidance from you, of course. So sit and think about how you want your business to be set up and visualize it, guys. Visualization is very important in any aspect of business, because when you can actually see the outcome that you want in your mind, it helps you to plan how you're going to set up your business. It helps you to plan how you're going to run your business. And when you're visualizing it, think too about employees if you're going to have them. How many employees would you need? If you're going to start small, do you need an employee? Or do you need several, or can you do it by yourself? So start small, work your way up, reinvest the money that you make into your business. When your business reach the stage where you can start paying yourself, then by all means go ahead and do so. But when you're just getting started, if you don't have enough resources, you want to be reinvesting whatever you earn. Now, when you are doing, whether it is a farmer's market at your home or you are doing worm farming business, whatever it is that you're doing. Remember that when you are doing things, growing things or raising, composting worms for personal use, what you do doesn't really matter much, but when you're doing it for business purposes, you have to keep your clients in mind. So you want to operate at the highest standard that you can and provide the best quality that you can to ensure that your customers are satisfied. Because when you have a satisfied customer, that customer will go and tell others about your business and cause you to gain more clients. So you want to operate at the highest standard. So these are some of the tips that I will be sharing with you today regarding how to set up your worm farming business, or how to go about getting started on that acreage or that homestead or that farmer's market or whatever it is that your goal is. Always plan ahead, because when you plan ahead, that is half the battle. Everything else falls into place because you know exactly what it is that you want, and because you created a plan, you know how you're going to accomplish it. So now the easier part is to actually go and do the things that are necessary to ensure that you get the outcome that you're seeking. So if you enjoy this video and you would like to see more updates on what's going on in my wormery and my indoor vertical greenhouse, then please take a moment to give me a thumbs up. You can leave a comment in the section below. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah, man. Time for grow.